All right, we're back on MorningLine. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday. Derrick Rhol's with us. He's from the Adventure Science Museum and Sudekum Planetarium. And listen, we're talking about the eclipse. So much has been covered, but there's still people that maybe are missing it, which is amazing to me. There are going to be people maybe driving through that weren't paying attention, and it's going to be happening. Let's show you where it's going to be going again, and we've got this great map. Now, the important thing to consider, and even I wasn't completely aware of this, I thought, okay, you see the yellow strip in the middle, and I think you were telling me, Derrick, that Nashville is the largest city in that yellow strip that goes through the middle of the country there that will experience totality, correct?
That's correct.
That means that strip across, all the way from Salem, Oregon, and ending down in Charleston across, will be total. You will experience there where the moon completely covers the sun.
Absolutely.
But that doesn't mean even people in Texas and even people up in Maine will experience some dimming. It won't be a totality. That'll be partial. Talk about the differences there.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between a partial eclipse and a total eclipse. So once you have this path of totality, that 2 minutes we've been talking about here in Nashville, the moon completely blocks the surface of the sun. The sky's going to go dark. It's going to look sort of like an indigo kind of twilight color across the sky. We're in the middle of that shadow, and so if you look off to the distance, you'll see some sky that isn't in the shadow of the moon. It'll look like a sunset in every direction that you look. Not only that, but if you're in the path of totality and the weather's clear, you'll see some stars, and we'll have 4 planets visible in the sky.
Wow, so you'll be able to see stars in the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah.
That's right. But take a look at that. I know it's hard if you're at home looking at that map, but this was really instructive to me. I mean, I understood the path of totality and how we're lucky enough to be in it, but I didn't really realize that the folks down in Yuma, Arizona will actually, way down there just before you go into Mexico, actually see, because 70%, 60% of the sun will be blocked out for them down there. So the whole country is going to experience some dimming. It's just the most radical dimming, and the totality is in that little narrow stretch of yellow, of which, you know, Nashville, Hopkinsville will be in the middle of it.
And the key difference is outside that stretch of yellow, outside the path of totality, part of the sun's surface will be visible at all times. So they never have that chance to look up. They won't be able to see the corona, that atmosphere of the sun surrounding it, sort of like that halo in the sky.
Yeah.
They won't be able to see any of that or look up safely without the glasses. They'll need those glasses the entire time if they want to look up and see that crescent in the sky.
Okay, people need to understand that, so that's crucial to know. All right, let's take another call. We'll go next to Hank. Hank, good morning.
Good morning. How are y'all?
Good, Hank. What's on your mind?
Well, I'll tell you what, to show you how stupid I am about the solar system, I used to think Pluto was Mickey's dog.
Well, he was, right?
But what I was going to ask you is, this may be a stupid question, but if the moon's going to cover that sun up, how come it's going to hurt our eyes so bad? And is there any chance of us taking a peek, just a peek, will a peek hurt us?
Yeah, and again, well, let's clarify. Listen real closely here. That's at the moment of totality. And are you saying that we will all know when it's totality?
You will know.
You'll know
no
when it's
doubt
covered.
In your mind.
You can look at the eclipse at that moment when the moon completely covers the sun.
Almost 2 minutes here in Nashville.
So Hank, you can look at that point.
You can look right then, and that's where, again, as you mentioned, I was so glad you said earlier, you know, it's not any more dangerous on eclipse day to look at the sun than on any other day. It's just, as a human, you're gonna want to look at the sun, and that's the big challenge. And so that's why we're giving all of this warning. The sun's not more dangerous. There's nothing, you know, sort of, you know, spooky or voodoo, I say sometimes, you know, about the sun. It's just that when it looks like a crescent, when that moon is coming in to block our view, you'll want to look. That's the risk. So it's really a human side of it. We're curious, you know, we want to explore, we want to see these things about our world and our universe, but we have to be careful that we're not actually looking at that surface of the sun. So no more dangerous, it's just you'll want to look.
And what time, I'm sorry, again, does the path of the totality reach Hopkinsville and Nashville?
So yeah, Nashville, totality is going to begin just a few seconds after 1:27 until a few seconds after 1:29. So downtown, I think it's about 1 minute and 55 seconds.
Okay, and then say when it starts in Salem, Oregon, is that going to be in the morning some point?
So believe it or not, and it gets a little bit tricky with the time zones and all that, but it gets all the way across the country in 90 minutes.
Okay.
So faster than any of our current planes can fly.
But they'll see the totality before us as it makes its way across.
They will, yeah. So Salem will be the first big U.S. city to experience totality, and then working all the way over the course of about 90 minutes to Charleston. Really neat thing here is that shadow touches Earth on one ocean, and it lifts off Earth on another ocean. It doesn't touch any other countries other than the United States. That's why we're calling it the Great American Eclipse.
That is crazy.
Which is great. Now, I tell people scientifically, you know what that means? Nothing. But it's important, though. Yeah, it's cool. It sounds cool.
I think that. So just so you know, then, Hank, that means during that totality, if you live in Nashville, 127 to 129, and you'll know when it's that way because it's going to be pitch black. Well, not pitch black, but it'll be what you described. Very dark. You can look safely then. But all the other time leading up to it and coming out of it, you can't look because the rays can be very harmful to your eyes. So don't take a peek at that point. But you can with the glasses and all of that.
With the glasses, yeah.
Let's go to Richard. Hi, Richard.
Hello.
Hey, Richard. What's on your mind?
When I was a kid and I was grade school, we had an eclipse, and what we did was took a pencil and pushed it through a hole, or pushed a hole through a piece of cardboard and shined that hole onto a white piece of paper, and you could see the crescent on that piece of paper. And we never had to look up to see the effects of the eclipse. You could see a partial of it by shining it through a hole in the cardboard onto a piece of paper. I remember that as a kid, being able to do that.
Yeah, and I see you also messaged us on Facebook. I was going to bring that up if you didn't call in, and he's exactly right. I did the same thing in the 70s. I was in grade school, and
79 probably.
I guess I was in Illinois.
Okay,
I was in Illinois at the time.
Yeah, 79 was the last time we had a total eclipse pass over part of the continental U.S.
Okay.
So even if you weren't in the path of totality, you would have experienced that partial eclipse.
Okay, and that works too, right? It's kind of like, you know, the shadow aspect of it.
It's a great idea. That's that pinhole idea. I'm glad it's a great memory. One trick on that: the bigger the hole, the brighter your projected crescent will be on the ground, but the blurrier it'll be. So if you go smaller, it'll be crisper but dimmer. So one of my favorite tricks is to actually take a piece of paper, cut a hole in it about the size of a dime, and just tape it over a mirror, and then point that at a wall, and you'll project that image of the sun onto the wall.
I was going to describe it. And so what will it show? What will it? You'll see it move?
Yeah, if you're maybe 30 to 50 feet away from that wall, it'll be about the size of a volleyball. And the really cool thing is, as Earth turns, your your projection of the sun will move across the wall, and that's just as Earth is turning for us. Now, it won't look like a ball, it'll look like a crescent during the eclipse, but if you want to try it today, scope out a good piece of wall, you can go ahead and do that. So just remember, paper over a mirror, cut a hole about the size of a dime, and you'll be ready for Monday.
Just to give people an idea, and I think we've all seen images, you know, heck, our News Channel 5 logo is kind of a eclipse. It's been that way for a while, but I think Mary Elena says she has some. Now, is that there a totality?
That is the last few seconds right before totality. We call this Bailey's beads, and that name was coined thanks to a stockbroker in London back in the 1800s. But the few points of light that you see up at the top, those are those beads we're speaking about. Do you know what makes all those multiple points? This is so cool. That's that last little sliver of the sun, but it's broken up as it shines between the craters on the moon.
Wow, I was going to say that would be what would cause it, but I didn't know it was that close to show like that. Yeah. Oh, that is awesome. So that's like a mountain or something there and craters in the moon coming across. So all right, now, that is what it'll look like. Just a second or two later, you'll be able to look at totality there. Yep. You'll still see a vague ring of light around the perimeter of the moon or not?
Yeah, so especially...
That won't harm you.
Well, yeah, so you'll have your glasses on as you're watching for the eclipse to start, and then as soon as you don't see anything else through those glasses, that's when you'll know it's safe.
Good.
So you just take those glasses right off. Yeah, so as soon as you see nothing through the glasses, that's when you can take them off, and then you'll see this great glow around of totality. And you'll see, that corona of the sun. That's an incredible picture. I think that one was taken by Fred Espenak. He's a good friend of ours.
Wait, that's not a drawing?
No, it looks a little bit, the fact that you can see the backside of the moon, I think that's highlighted for us. But the corona of the sun is just
Is that
really
some of what
incredible.
you'll see during totality, that corona like that?
You will see, it depends how active the sun is. Unfortunately, we're at a low point in the sun's cycle, but it'll be incredible. And that glow around it, that's what'll be about as bright as the full moon.
That is so cool. All right, and this one, is this when it's coming out of totality?
So yeah, so we call that the diamond ring effect, and so that's when you can see that last sliver before it's actually been broken up by the craters on the moon. So it's a really cool, obviously a very photogenic moment right there. So the bright part, the diamond of the ring, if you will, that's the last bit of the sun's surface, and then the glow around the other side, that's that atmosphere of the sun coming into view.
Okay. You're the first one, really, and I guess this makes sense, and I maybe haven't done enough reading on it to make it clear to me that the whole idea is, as you're watching, if you have a pair of the good glasses, you're watching, maybe you pop them on there and you say, oh, look, I'm going to watch the eclipse from 1:20. Start at 20, and for the next 7 minutes you'll watch it slowly coming across, and then at 1:27 in Nashville is about when it'll be totality. You'll be watching, you'll see the sliver, you'll see it going, and then all of a sudden it'll go black. That's when you can take this away and safely look at the totality for about 2 minutes.
Yep.
And then it'll start going the other way, and as you put this back on, you'll see the sliver of light coming back up. As it gets brighter and brighter again, you want to make sure you keep these on.
Exactly. Got it just right. Yeah, we're excited for it.
All right, let's see. Let's go to Brian. Brian, good morning.
Hey, good morning. My brother's an eye doctor in Richmond. He's sad because he can't get away to look at it, but they're going to try to drive as close as they can to it. He's going to try to see me that day, but he's busy, But he said, yeah, definitely get the good glasses. And even if you're outside, you don't have the glasses, like you said, on my house, the way it is, the way the sun shines, I think the shadow will go over my brick wall and to the back, and I got a couple of trees too. I know that the animals don't like it when this happens. They go real quiet. You watch. About 10 minutes before it starts happening, the birds will all go quiet. The snakes, the raccoon, the spotted owl in Salem, Oregon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's my old stomping ground in Salem, Oregon. That's where it's starting. And all the animals, the wildlife, everything, they'll be aware of it. Hey, we're going to go to break. But as we go to break, just in a nutshell, in your mind, the significance of this. It is a neat phenomenon to behold. It's nature and it's the outer space. Is that what it is? I mean, tangibly, unless it unfortunately damages someone's eyes, it's just a neat thing to observe, right?
It's incredible, and we've been telling people, there's a lot of science that goes into this.
So we can learn some things from this.
We can learn a lot, and NASA's got some projects we can talk about too if you want. Okay. But we also say it's a human experience.
Right.
This is the universe we've lived in forever, and something's getting a little bit shaken up. Something unusual is coming on Monday.
That's exactly what it is. It's just kind of different, folks. And if you take precautions, it can be a really fun thing. Why not? Listen, let's take a break. When we come back, it'll be our final segment. We can take a few more of your questions, 737-7587. If you're following us right now streaming live on Facebook at newschannel5.com, get on here and hit us up. A lot of people asking, where can you go to get glasses? Now, I'll see if there's any places that still has what we think are the legitimate ones, and we'll try to get that to you when we come back right after this.